Okay, everybody, good evening. It is Tuesday, October the 11th. I am so sorry for the delay. As many of you may know, our town, as well as many towns surrounding us, are all out of electricity. I am very, very thankful that we have a backup system in this town hall that we're able to still conduct this meeting. It is October the 11th, and it's currently 7:20, and I would entertain a motion to call this meeting to order.
I'll make that motion as stated.
Is there a second?
I'll second that motion.
Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, this meeting is now in order. Thank you all so much. In getting started, we are going to do a pledge of allegiance, and then we'll do a moment of silence. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, so let's do a moment of silence in thinking about all of those who have served and protected us, as well as those who care for us and take care of us. So let's just have a moment of silence and all the things that we are grateful for as well. Thank you. Okay, thank you. As we think about it, we might be out of lights at the moment, but you know, we're expected to have lights back on by 9 o'clock. There's some people who won't have lights back on for a long time. So we have to be grateful for what it is that we do have in our hearts. As a first part, I want to, we have asked Base Trucking to actually come back and give us an update on what the position is at this time on where we are in the improvements that we discussed a couple of months ago. And so we have Rico, I don't know, have your last name in front, but your name is Yuriko Alexander. Can you come on up and give us an update on what we have happening here in town? Thank you so much for being here. Appreciate it.
Good evening. How's everybody doing tonight?
Okay.
It's a little dark out, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's interesting.
Well, it's a good thing the trash got picked up earlier.
Absolutely. So here's some of the things that we've done to improve the services in the town of Colmar Manor. We have, of course, as I stated, the new trucks are now in place, so only new trucks running in the town. Our schedule has become consistent. We're no longer running late. The crews are getting consistent. We're finding those who don't cut the standard, and so we're eliminating them quickly. The container placement, the last 3 weeks have been immaculate. On the grass, off the street, lids have been closed. I've personally been riding around kind of just monitoring that situation. We can always get better. One of the things that I was a little disappointed in today was the driver had identified that there was some construction on 41st and had done the right thing, had contacted dispatch, and dispatch did not communicate to the town. And so that kind of bothered me because that's a system that we put in place. In our last meeting, which was not the public meeting, but there was a kind of a closed session, there was discussion by the mayor and others with concern of the quality of customer service in the town. And as proud as I am of Bates brand and who I represent, I took it to heart, and it bothered me. I didn't sleep well. And so I reevaluated every system that we have, and I invested over $6,000 in training modules and programs, and I did implement training for our helpers, from how to dump the cans to how to avoid spills to how to communicate. Hey, there we go. Ding, 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 ding. And how to communicate. I couldn't have planned that any better. And how to communicate with residents when the need comes. And so we have seen marked improvement. We have raised our standard. We have done a diligent, and I think my staff has done a great job of passing along the message that the standard that was once acceptable will no longer be accepted. And so we have gotten some great hires. We have seen some talent that we didn't know we had because of this raising of the standard. And so we're very encouraged with the behavior that we're seeing. We're not where we want to be, which is darn near perfect, but I think we're a lot better than we were a few months ago when I stood here. We have a lot more work to do, and we're excited to get that done. Mr. Bates is completely committed to the improvements that you spoke of desiring, that I briefed him and gave him the down and dirty and said, you know, it wasn't pretty, but it was an honest assessment of what they felt like our services had become. And it's up to us to get it back to a level that they're used to and that they desire. And so for that, I think we are going in the right direction. There have been marked improvements. We're not all the way there, but we're getting there.
I want to thank you. Wow, I got a microphone, actually. I want to thank you so much for coming back and continuing to, you know, conversate with us about what things are going on, because that means a lot, you know, to have you actually participate in the conversation. So just, you know, as far as pieces of information I wanted to ask you, I thought it was a little bit weird. Last Tuesday, and I haven't been back to my house since early today, so I don't know what my outcome is right now. But last Tuesday, so I think it was the recycle bin that was like almost in the center of my driveway entrance. The trash was on the side, just like we talked about, whatever. And so I was just wondering, in both cases, just you know, as a piece of letting you know, because when you come back to your house and there's a trash can in the center of your driveway, you know, you gotta stop, you know, other people going back and forth on the street, you gotta get out, you gotta go move the trash can in the driveway, and you know, and that was the case. So there was this mixed message that was going on between whatever was recycling and what was trash. It was a different story. And also, there was also a different story when it came to either a bin left open or closed. So I just want to let you know that, because I usually try to come around and drive around on trash day just to be able to have information about what I'm seeing, you know. But I've definitely seen improvement.
Forever training. 2 different crews. One got it right, one didn't. Unfortunately, we're back to 50%, which isn't high enough.
Yeah. As long as you guys keep working with us.
But one of the things that we had committed to was having a supervisor kind of drive the town and just kind of make sure things were in place. We had that guy in place. That guy had a family emergency that made him leave town. And so now I'm in search of the right guy again. And so we'll get him, or her, and we'll make sure that they are attentive to the needs. More importantly, I think they close the loop. I think we have done some things to improve the services for the town, but I think what closes the loop is the supervisor checking in with Mike each day of service and viewing the town, so that if it's not right, they fix it before you get home from work. Because my pet peeve personally is cans in front of driveways. I work 15 hours a day. Last thing I want to do when I get home is have to get out my car and move a can so I can pull it. Drives me crazy. So I get it. I share the same sentiment. I have a different trash company who services my neighborhood, so I sometimes run into the same thing. Absolutely. Yeah.
So the other thing I wanted to ask you is, so I've sent people since you last spoke to us and said you're always hiring, and you know, for me it's an important thing to get people from my community hired. And I want to ask you, because I thought you guys were on Kenilworth. Are you still on Kenilworth Avenue?
No, we're not
Do
on
you have
Kenilworth.
another address?
Well, our corporate office is 4305 48th Street.
4305.
Yes, 48th Street, which is off of Kenilworth Avenue.
Back here by the school buses?
Street.
Right exactly behind the school bus lot. Our 2 buildings sit right behind the school bus lot. But our trucks leave, if you go around the corner, you know where the United Rental building is right there on the corner? So if you go around that corner, because you got the United Rental rents that lot. They got all them trucks back there. Well, if you go around the corner, the next lot, that's where our trucks and our trailer is, where we dispatch all our crews out
So
of.
if somebody was coming to apply, though,
They need to go to that trailer,
they need to go to 4305, 48.
depending on the position. If they're applying to work on a truck, they need to go to the yard.
Oh, to the yard, which is
Yes.
behind United
Which is behind
Renter.
the United Renter, correct.
Okay, because I've been told now, since, I've been really pushing this, is,
Please continue.
there's another company called The Goods,
Good Company, it's a sister company.
Good Company.
Goode.
huh?
Goode. Good Companies.
And you guys work together.
We're partners, we're sister
You're
companies.
partners. So should they apply, they could apply to them or you, or?
Good
what-
doesn't provide any services or jobs in this area.
Oh, okay.
Good is South County.
Oh, okay.
So they don't come to this part of Prince George's County. So it would be, unless someone lives there, it would be a real inconvenience for them to
Okay.
go to Temple Hills to work.
Temple Hills,
right down
things
the
like
street.
that, okay.
Yep.
So our guy, I'm just asking you because, as I've been putting this stuff out there, this information comes back and I don't know what it means. So, okay, this is really helpful, thank you so much. So our guys really should focus on Bates.
They should focus on Bates, and I'm gonna beg you, please have the conversation with them, that if they, I'm on tape, so it's hard for me to say this, I'm gonna try and be politically correct. If they're doing things that could prevent employment, they need to work on stopping those things. They should come now. I'll give them a 30-day grace period to kind of get cleaned up, if you will. I just had to terminate 27 people because of a random drug test that we did, and 27 failed. I don't even have a choice to keep them. I gotta let them go, per DOT law. So just tell them get cleaned up. It's a one-time test.
Right.
So I test them one time. There are no more randoms unless you're a driver. If you have a CDL, DOT
A driver,
requires
right, of
that
course.
you got to go through randoms all year round. But if you're just a helper on the back of the truck, I need you to be clean one time. Once. Yes, ma'am.
Does
That's
Bates
fair.
hire for weekends for truck drivers?
Every day.
Through the week?
There are no weekends in trash. Yeah, every
Are
day.
you talking about drivers?
Uh-huh.
Your
Drivers, yeah, we
Uh-huh.
have drivers for the weekend. And we also, with our sister companies for drivers specifically, if there's someone who has a CDL license, we have multiple opportunities for drivers through our sister companies, through Good, through Team Transport, through Recycle One, through Unity. All of those are companies that Mr. Bates owns.
Okay,
And so we're always in search of good CDL drivers.
okay. Thank you.
You guys have any questions or comments?
Yeah, I do. I want to say that I have seen a big change in Ward 1, and I noticed there was a supervisor riding around, checking behind, making sure there wasn't nothing dropped. And I did see the change in the personalities of the helpers. They were pleasant, and I can see the big change. Thank you.
Good. We're glad you see it. We're not satisfied.
Right.
We're not resting on the successes that we've seen, but we do identify that a lot of what you guys said in the last meeting, you were right. And so I accepted it. I didn't like it, but I accepted it because I didn't think we could be that bad, because I know that's not what Mr. Bates stands for.
Right.
And so we have since kind of redirected.
Great.
All right, well, thank you so much.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you, guys. Glad the lights
Does
are back.
anybody have any questions that they would like to ask
Good.
at this point in time about the trash pickups? Or any comments? Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Our
We're
pleasure.
probably gonna have you come back again in a
Yes.
couple months.
I'm going to talk to you offline. Just.
And the thing I also want to also
do a
talk
job
about.
fair. I
Huh?
want to talk to you about a job fair.
Okay.
Oh, okay,
Job
about
fair.
job fair, oh, yes.
Yeah.
And,
I did one somewhere else that was really successful, so I want to do it here.
one of the things I do really want to move forward, I really do want to separate the recycling and the trash. And I want to make sure that you and Mr. Bates get in conversation with each other, because I do think that if we can separate the days when they do recycling and when they do trash, we can train people a lot better.
We're gonna
on what
leave the
is
trash day on
recycling.
Tuesday.
Right.
We're gonna change the recycle day. I'm gonna send you some proposed days. You guys tell me which one. That's a quick execution for us. It's not really, it's seamless for us. It's not really that
I mean,
difficult.
it's a lot, it's more work for us because we have
Right.
to make sure we communicate it appropriately.
Right, so that's what I'm saying. As long the lead time you need to get residents
It's gonna take a couple months.
informed and kind of how to transition into that new day. My commitment to Mr. Bates is I'm gonna get him their proposed days,
Okay.
and then we can kind of go from there.
Okay, good. I don't want to lose that thought process, because I do think that it will help us to communicate to people about what they should be doing on a recycle day, which is
Okay.
different than a trash day. Because
Right.
I think they're like you, I think you made the comment that would cause creating the
Okay, so
commingling.
So what we've seen work. Is it okay if I share kind of some
Oh,
best
absolutely.
practices?
Yeah,
What I've seen work in other municipalities. What we've seen work in other municipalities is we work in conjunction with the town to get stickers. Bright orange or bright lime green. Lime green would be because that's the signs it can. But bright orange stickers, and they basically state what's acceptable and what's
Oh, that's great.
contaminated. And what we do is we got a system right now with a couple of the municipalities is we just tag it. Code enforcement has a conversation with the resident, and then we come clean it up.
Yep.
That's the first time. Second time we leave it till you clean it out. And so what we've seen is a tremendous improvement
Okay.
in clean recyclables going into the can, just because we tagged it and they come home and it's not emptied. And naturally you call,
Right.
so they missed my recycle, and it's like, well, they didn't miss it. They tagged it because you didn't have the right stuff in there. So we're
Right.
going to dump it for you
Right.
this time.
Okay.
Next time, you're going to have to
No.
go in and clean
Oh,
it out.
I mean, I like.
And so, putting the onus back on the resident, I think, is the only way
Right.
to get buy-in.
Yes.
So
That's
you're
right.
either going to participate, because it's almost to a point now, the MRFs, the recycle centers are getting so strict on us. I would rather you choose to recycle right or just don't. Because at the point when you start recycling wrong, it costs us so much money. We're paying $25 a ton for recyclables. It used to be free. We used to get money for it. We don't get anything
You're
now.
supposed to get money for
Right,
it.
right. So it
Right.
just
Supposed
it
to
changes
go
the whole
other way
dynamic.
around,
And so now we're saying you got to do it right, or just don't do it.
Right.
Because if you do it wrong, it costs everybody money. So
So I have another question that's sort of a little off of the line of this, but I think that you guys do some of the business commercial corridors too.
yes,
I was told recently, which I had no idea, that actually legally the businesses are supposed to be recycling.
it is a law.
That there's like a real
It is a law that if you
that
are
they're
a
supposed to
business,
recycle?
you must have a minimum of 1 time a week recycle service. That
And-
is in law.
But they don't.
No, and your job is to contact 311 and just drop an address,
All
and
right.
let code do what they do.
311.
All right
Yeah,
then.
let code do what they do. But it's a law. They're supposed to.
Okay. And
Okay.
they don't even sign up for it or anything.
No, and it's not really policed unless somebody tells somebody
All right.
that they're not.
All right. Well, thank you so
Okay,
much.
thank
I
you.
appreciate
You guys have a great
being
evening.
here.
All right, thank you. Thank you.
All right, thank you. I appreciate that so much. Okay, moving forward, okay, I really want to give our delegate Fennell an opportunity to come up and talk about our Get Out the Vote drive and what we're going to do in working with District 47 and making sure people come out to vote.
Mayor Council, good evening.
Thank
I'm
you.
Diana Fennell, delegate for the 47th District. I just want to say thank you all for partnering with the 47th District, Senator Ramirez, Delegate Talo, and Delegate Sanchez, and myself. In reference to getting out the vote, we have moved the date from October the 16th to October the 30th to get out the vote. We have Charles Dash Payne, who's the promoter. We have Mashika Thomas, who's working on that project, also in Paul DeLira, and you was at the meeting, and Ricardo Bailey. So we want to thank the committee for putting it together, and DJ Flavor, who works at 93.9, who's going to be here to help get the vote.
KYS.
To get out the vote. So I just want the communities to be aware, not just Colmar Manor, but all the communities. We're going to really be pushing getting out the vote. Does not specify any type of Republican or Democrat. It's the meaning of getting out the vote to make sure that you come and exercise your right to vote. So whatever we can do to do that, we're going to do. And I thank you all for your partnership.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you so much. Much
Thank you,
appreciated.
Any questions for me? Okay. It's good to see you this evening. I'm glad the power's back on.
Thank you.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yes. And you got lights back on at home in Colmar Manor. Thank you. We also have here a guest from our fire department, which is Mr. Bill Brodus, who's going to give us an update on just how the fire department operates and sort of takes care of us. Some very, very important, very, very important agency in terms of how, our lives.
Well, thank you, Madam Mayor and Council and Chief. My name is Bill Broadus, Vice President of the Brentwood Volunteer Fire Department. As you probably know, years ago, you had several departments: Brentwood, Cottage City, Colmar Manor, Mount Rainier. Based on the county's financial responsibilities, they determined that those 3 firehouses were too costly to run independently because they were so close. So what they did was they put a station on Rhode Island Avenue and forced all 3 volunteer companies into one facility. That being said, there were some growing pains with that because those are independent corporations and there was no template put in place for that to function. Moving fast forward, I transferred from another station, Chapel Oaks, and so when I got here, I gave some insight as to how we can make this mesh and work and be a community firehouse. And what's happened, we've changed the name from the Bunker Hill Volunteer Fire Rescue Association to Brentwood because of some legal issues. Cottage City, Colmar Manor lost their charter in 2006 because of not filing taxes. So they could not legally operate in the state of Maryland. Mount Rainier does not meet the requirement bona fide fire department because they don't have the active members and they really don't have the equipment that they promised in their charter. Brentwood was the only one that still had an active charter and it met the minimum standard to be a volunteer fire department in the state of Maryland. So with that, we did a consolidation minus Mount Rainier because they decided not to participate, but to legally change the name with no pyramiding or duplication of benefits to make one solid community fire department to serve all of the boroughs. And based on that, I know sometimes there's a misconception that we're all paid. We are not. We have 19 active volunteers that operationally get the apparatus and equipment out on emergency calls, and we have about 12 non-operational administrative volunteers that do the support service. Like Mr. Muchler does a lot of volunteering at that station. And he's part of what I call the group of tribal elders that we are appreciative of because he provides the inspiration for everybody else to step up. We only have 4 career people around the clock 7 days a week. But based on our location and the consolidation of the new dispatch system, we have now been considered not so much essential to emergency response. So what may happen, based on the call volume, we may lose that career staff in the future and they may allocate them to another station. Currently, we're doing what they call VSU days, where the career people are set someplace else and we man the station for 12 to 24 hours. So there's no loss of service, there's just continuity all the way through. But we may end up like some stations like Bladensburg where we'll be 100% volunteer 24/7. So basically, to put that out there so the community understands, because normally what happens when they call 911, somebody shows up. They don't care about the paint job, what it says on the side. As long as it's a group of folks that are there to help them, that's all they're worried about. But I think it's imperative to get that information out to the community that they understand that this is their firehouse, this is their community organization. And I'm encouraging the community to join, be volunteers. In whatever capacity you can give, we need that. And all your training is free. We send you to the University of Maryland. You get all the classes, and if some of the younger folks and residents of this community want to apply for career jobs at other jurisdictions, they have a fighting chance to take those entrance exams because they've had the training. And some jurisdictions say if you have an EMT, it's an automatic set of points for employment, which happened with Anne Arundel County. So it's one of those things that's a win-win for everybody. And also to let you know, that aging fleet that we have, the fire trucks that you see, the majority of those are volunteer paid for. In other words, county doesn't pay for them. The volunteers raise funds. They go out, they do functions to pay for that stuff. The ladder truck that you may see floating around the Cottage City, when it was purchased, I think it was 2007, it was about $750,000. To replace that today would cost me about $1.5 million.
Wow.
So if we don't have the money to pay for it, just like your car, the snatch man will come and take it. And that actually happened to Hillside many years ago because they were hiding their ladder truck at my firehouse for a while, and then when they thought the coast was clear, they actually went on a call, and that's when the sheriff showed up with the tow company, and they're like, get your people off after you finish doing what you're doing, but we got to take it. So it's very real. So, yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I had a question. We had a home in our town that just caught a fire a month ago, and everyone had to leave the home. It was destroyed badly. And we did a walkthrough Ward 2 last year, and we found out that a lot of the citizens that live in the homes that there's 2 and 3 families, and they don't have smoke detectors.
Correct.
And so I would maybe like to talk to you and find out when we could get someone to come back out on a Saturday and revisit
not a problem.
some of the other community, and, you know. Also talking to the people about the smoke detectors now are supposed to last for 10 years.
Yeah, some of the newer ones.
It's a new law.
And what we do, we did this for Mount Rainier a couple of months ago, where the National Capital Region Red Cross came out with our fire department, both career and volunteer, and we canvassed the neighborhood and we installed these detectors. And while we're doing that, we're taking a look around because some of our citizens need some extra attention. It probably wouldn't have been noticed because they don't come outside. So we make a mental note of that. That way we know that if we may need to refer a special service to that individual.
It was done last year, they only did one street,
Right.
Okay?
so only one street had attention. I think the whole town needs to be done.
Absolutely.
Very much.
Yes.
We do have a lot of people that are in need in our town that we're not going to be able to know that they're in need unless we can get inside somehow.
Absolutely. Well, and that's,
And this is a good way.
yes, absolutely. This is how we do that. And we found some things, so we were able to take note of that. So very good point, Chief. So definitely we'll make sure that we can do the whole town because the smoke detectors are given to us, so we have to get like a finite number, and we'll get with National Capital Red Cross to help. Normally that's done through the county fire department, but if you work through me, I'll try to send out an email.
Well,
Chief
I mean, I
Bashore to
think
make
that there
that
was a
happen.
program, what was the name of the program?
It was done
With Chief, because Chief,
from the county fire department did it.
Right.
right, he was here, and it was a
They had
name,
an app on their phone that they was able.
was an app on the phone and everything that they were using. And so, and we went out with them, you know,
Okay.
to create a comfort zone.
Sure,
with
absolutely.
we only
people in
did
the
one
community,
street, right.
But it was just 1.5, like it was 1.5 streets.
A half?
that's why.
Okay.
Yeah, because we also did a little bit of Lawrence and
And then
on
40th Avenue.
40th Avenue, right.
Right.
Well, if you go
Time to
through Chief
rent out
Bashore
smoke
again, identify those streets that weren't touched, so that way it comes from the top and he can drive
Right.
that down.
Right,
have
if
no
we could get a
problem.
list where we actually start to, you know, check off
Sure,
everybody who's
absolutely.
been touched.
Absolutely.
So we know who's been touched and who hasn't been touched. I want to ask you a question about electricity. I guess some of the fires that we've had. more
electrical
recently, or electrical fires. And we have an aging housing community. Are there recommendations or things that, anything that people should understand
Yeah,
about how to
absolutely.
be?
Extension cords, that's the biggest problem. Loading up
Overloading.
extension cords with all kinds of heavy-duty things like heaters, air conditioners, TVs, high volume, what I call big draw
Computers.
type items, that's a problem. That's the biggest thing.
Like a refrigerator should be
Like a
plugged into the wall,
refrigeration.
not into a.
Sure.
Okay.
And a lot of folks will run big ticket items, like maybe an electric dryer, or they got the refrigerator on the same plug. Not a good idea. And again, I understand a lot of it's due to economics, a lot of it's just due to not having all of the plugs that they need and to
exactly.
upgrade.
I mean, it's an older house, it doesn't have the
Sure,
same, you don't
absolutely.
have the number of plugs that it would be
Outlets.
required, outlets that would be required this day if you were building a new house. that
Absolutely.
You have an outlet every, 7 feet or
right.
something like that. They don't have, they didn't have that rule.
Absolutely. So the
in the
extension
past.
cords ideally can be used maybe for a television or charge a cell phone or electric clock, something small, and then try to leave the standard plug for the big ticket items where there's a ground connection. And things that they're not using, make sure they cut them off.
Are there programs that can help you, like their homes in the town are older and they have the old electric system set up, like she said? Are there programs like maybe something like Christmas in April with someone that could come out, electricians, and we know that you need, half of these are blown, your circuits are blown already, so you run the cord from here to get over here to the refrigerator, and you got another family downstairs on that same cord,
Correct.
Are there programs that
There
could
may
come
have
out?
been with Pepco at one time, and now with the change between BG&E and Pepco and who handles the transmission lines. Normally, they would go out and discuss options, especially with our aging community. One, how to cut their costs. Two, how they could come up with money-saving ways of controlling the electricity, and just to make sure.
Price where that person could afford to have an electrician come in and fix
Well, I
these
mean,
boxes.
and it's a really
The
good point,
Pepco
because
would
even
do
at the
help
point
them.
of, like, I had a huge remodeling done to the house, where when you have to get your permits, and they come in and they put the things
Check 'em.
inside of every one of the circuits to testers to see whether or not they're grounded properly and all that kind of stuff. Are there programs out there where people who are not necessarily remodeling their house can have somebody come in and just check and
for
see
safety,
what's the status of their house?
I believe Pepco used to do that, and like I said, things have changed, and so that question hasn't been presented to me in a while, but at one time, they had stuff in place, and I can certainly try to research that and see what I can find out. Even
That
though
would
it's
be
not a
great.
primary function of the department, when we go into a home and we recognize that there might be a problem, we'll let them know, say, sir or ma'am, this could be a potential problem here. You might want to make some other arrangements on how you have this hooked up, just for a safety factor. And again,
And some of them, circuit bracket may need to be, upgraded.
Absolutely.
The box
Right,
itself.
they're
absolutely,
adequate.
absolutely, and that stuff's costly.
Right.
And unfortunately, it's one of those things when you're trying to explain to somebody they need to get something changed, they know what their pockets look like. And so at that point, unless we come back for another emergency, we wouldn't be able to follow up
Right.
to see if those changes were in fact made or suggestions taken. So
And a lot of the people here are renting these homes, and you got
Yes.
multiple families, and the owner, I'm gonna get it fixed, I'm gonna get it fixed, and next thing, a spark in the fire.
absolutely.
Well, I mean, I don't know if anything's changed, but back in the day, I mean, it's been 20-some years ago, but Pepco powered up for free and provided a new box, because if you're using more power, you're paying more money, and so they did that.
Yep, they
free.
did, they did.
I don't know if it's still that
Well,
way.
see, now
That was 20-some
because,
years ago.
and I forget the company that owns Pepco now, there's been lots of changes, and I think Pepco only handles the transmission line. They don't handle the generation. So that's off to another company. So that's why I said with that diversification, things may have changed in that, so.
All right, I want some clarity on something that you said earlier, just to make sure that I understood what you said. Now, are you saying that, you said that in Colmar Manor County City Fire Department lost their charter in
2006, yes ma'am.
So we don't have the Colmar Manor County City Fire Department anymore?
It's all one station. When they combined it 10 years ago, they gave you one station. They
So, I
moved
mean, I know,
everybody
so
in
are
there.
we Bunker Hill or are we Brentwood?
It's Brentwood.
So it's really the official name is the Brentwood Fire
It's
Department?
Brentwood, that's the official name. It was originally the Bunker Hill Association because they wanted to give the respect of the three companies going in there.
I thought Colmar Manor was up on it,
I mean, the names are on the station,
Right.
but he's
Yes.
explaining some technicalities to
Right,
us
right.
right
Yeah,
now.
absolutely. So like my jacket says Brentwood, but I represent all of the boroughs.
Three of them,
And if you see me on the ladder truck, it says Cottage City Colmar Manor, but the fire truck may say Mount Rainier, and the mini pumper says Brentwood, and the ambulance says Brentwood. It's all in one house.
Right.
But the official, I guess in police terms, TA, trading as, it is Brentwood.
And why did the fire department have to pay taxes? I mean, what's that all
Actually,
about?
we do. If you,
Remember the
it
county?
depends, if you're tax exempt status, you have to file taxes with the
Oh,
Secretary of
it's the-
State, those types of things.
Oh, it's the filing, not necessarily the
Filing,
payment,
and
it's
if
the
there's any
filing.
penalties or anything based on income, based on your tax status, that stuff has to be taken care of. And when it's not, Maryland will drop a house on top of you. So what they said was, bam, your charter's gone until you get this straight. Well, I didn't discover that until much later.
And what was the other jurisdiction? So we had Colmar County City, Brentwood, and what was the
And then
fourth
you have
jurisdiction?
Mount Rainier.
Oh, Mount Rainier is also.
So they don't have any active
they don't
members
have one
that
either?
ride. They have nobody that's active. So they just have that fire truck, and they have non-operational, just administrative staff. So they don't meet the requirement as far as membership, officers, and equipment.
Oh, wow.
So I can't afford, being the vice president or any position, to be in a position where I'm going to get jammed up if I have to explain to somebody why we're operating something and the name is not valid, you know.
Thank you. I really appreciate this. This is very informative, things that we just wouldn't have known. But I want to ask you a question about something that I haven't followed up on. I met with Mayor Walter, James in Bladensburg, and there were some concerns with their fire department. We met with them, and they were concerned about, I mean, I'm not going to get this all right, but there were some issues about, there was some documentation that was going in relationship to the volunteers and the, what do you call them, professional?
Yes, career staff, yes, ma'am.
Career staff, that's what I want to say. And the way that the wording was placed created some confusion around positioning or who's in charge.
Yeah,
like
there was a
who's
general
in
order
charge-
put out.
charge.
It's still in place now. Basically, what it says, that at certain rank level.
It was
like-
ranking, yeah, it was a ranking issue.
Yeah, absolutely. And I was involved in some of that, so I can give you some of the gospel.
Thank you.
Like, I'm a volunteer lieutenant, but by that general order, the career lieutenant's ahead of me, even though we have the same training. So that's where the issue is. The other issue is that if my chief went on a call, the battalion chief was higher ranking than our chief. The old way, our chief outranked the battalion chief. So what was put in place was a thing of where the career people were going to have the last say-so as far as giving a command on a scene or taking charge of a situation. And that's basically what it amounted to. And one of the arguments from the volunteers were, well, wait a second. This is our community, our equipment. How can you tell me what to do? And so I think that's where the pushback came from. And so it went all the way up to Rashawn Baker, I can tell you that. And Chief Bayshore was involved, and he basically said, here's the deal. I believe it's still in litigation, but
Okay.
it's still a standing general order. I can tell you this, that at my station, Brentwood, we have a working relationship with our career folks, because one of the things I don't tolerate is any type of antagonistic type of hostile atmosphere. We're all doing the same job. The only difference is they have a paycheck that they get and I don't. That's the only difference. And the other thing is I base everything on performance and proficiency. And one of my arguments with this general order, I have no problem with it if you base it on performance and proficiency issues. If you fail to perform, you're not proficient, then yes, sure. The battalion chief, the paid battalion chief has a right to take command of the situation. Have no problem with it. Or the captain in the station has a right to take command of a situation if you don't have the right certification, you're not going to ride this fire truck. Because they have an obligation when they're on duty for unqualified people on their fire truck, or if they're going out the door, they need to know, are you certified? I know you're a volunteer, this is your piece, but I'm the captain or the lieutenant here, and I need to know whether you're qualified to go out on the street.
Well, I mean, I personally felt like, I feel from what I recall, because we were supposed to get some language, which I don't remember getting, to offer assistance in the
Yeah,
conversation.
it's still in litigation. Nothing final has come out of it.
Okay.
What Chief Bashir has said, that he doesn't want the battalion chiefs taking command from a chief unless it's absolutely necessary. So that was the caveat with that. So we've been doing a good job.
I mean,
of
because
making sure-
clearly, I personally would prefer that someone is most familiar with the neighborhood.
Absolutely,
One
and that
who
was
is
that was the argument.
in charge of the
I'm familiar with the
situation.
neighborhood. You're coming from across town. You may be a detailed battalion chief from another area, and you're coming over here. Yes, the science of fighting a fire, building construction, it's all the same, but the nuances of the neighborhood are much different from block to block. So that you rely on that institutional knowledge of the locals to carry you through. So that's what the push is. Once I hear something, I'll definitely make sure you
Okay.
have that
Just
information.
send it, to the
Absolutely.
town hall and let us know, so if we can be a party to assisting that. My last question, and I totally am appreciative of you being here, because I didn't
Sure,
expect you to
sure.
be here, but obviously I have a lot of interest in this, is your recruiting process for volunteers. I am concerned, I know probably, I've been here about over 30 years now, and there was an active scenario of volunteers going in, and I don't see it publicly anymore.
You don't, and if I can take this posture with you, Mayor, the problem is the neighborhood's changed faster than the fire departments as a whole. And again, it wasn't deliberate. It's just the saying, you can't see the forest for the trees. So that's what happened. So this is why I'm here tonight.
Good, thank you.
Because we need inclusiveness. One of my things that I'm shooting for next year is to have my station reflect the community.
I think it's so strong. I mean, it was so strong because you remember it was several of our young guys who actually
Were
wound up being
volunteer.
volunteers in their 20s, early
Yes.
20s.
The two
And it's-
Chris's from the community, and there was a couple others.
couple
Yeah.
others, and
But they hung in there
but
a long
there's
time.
like we got folks who really need to be
Right.
doing something.
Well, and
Even if
here's
they're
the
not
other
doing
thing.
anything, this would be because it's great. A character building. It's a
Absolutely.
great character building
Absolutely.
thing to do.
Well, I think that one of the main issues is there's a lot of distractions out there. Most people say, well, you're stupid for doing that for free. I'm not doing that for free. And I have to break it down to them like a shotgun and say, well, here, let's break this down. This is why we do this. This is why you should invest back in your community, in your neighborhood. Because again, this will relate to something else later when you apply for a job, where someone says, hey, you know what, my uncle was a firefighter, or my dad was, or my brother, or my
Yes.
cousin. You see, so they look at you in a different light because they see that in your spare time, you're actually doing something rather than playing Xbox for countless hours and not really
Or
doing
you're in
anything.
front of the convenience store.
Or hanging out in front of the
Right,
convenience store,
right,
sure.
right.
So again, we want to say, if you're 16 years of age, that's the minimum age to join,
16?
16.
That was my question.
16 years of age. And then the limit, as high as you want. Like I said, Mr. Ed, I think, is our oldest volunteer. So we got something for everybody.
Right.
You
And they
don't
get
have to.
and they get some training too.
Training is
and-
free, University of Maryland.
Exactly.
You have to take a physical for CPAP, make sure that you can functionally do the job. If you can't, I can still make you administrative, so you don't lose out completely.
For
But-
the
yes.
training, is there a certain time of year they have to go, or?
We have training all year round,
All year round?
and you can go as high as you want. I've been volunteering for 25 years. I've got all kinds of training. It's free. It's beneficial. It certainly helped me in my personal life. And the thing that I want to show is that if you're an EMT, That skill is transferable anywhere you go. You're at a party, you're at your house, one of your relatives drops, bam. You can get right to work while someone calls 911.
Save a life.
Save a life.
That's right.
You see, so again, I've come up on accidents in my car. Boom. I'm
There's a
right
lot
there
of
till
them.
911 gets there. So
That's right. It's a lot of pride in
a lot of
character
it.
building, yes.
A lot of it. And again, we're looking for our fire station to reflect the community. We're looking for people, so we need women to join too. It's not just a male environment. And we're lacking in that department because I don't think it was just put out there or marketed the way it needs to be. But certainly, all walks of life, it doesn't matter. As long as you meet the background check and pass the minimum standard for performance and proficiency, it's not an issue.
Well, thank you so much. I very, very much appreciate you coming, and it
Can I
would
have
be
your
really
card
great
also,
if,
so
yeah,
I
if,
can-
I can leave my information on a piece of paper, and then you can reach me
Thank you.
offline, and then I will.
can we schedule that maybe you can come back once
Sure.
every 4 months or something like that? or 3
Absolutely.
months,
That's
just
my
every
goal.
quarter to just
That's my
let
goal.
us know what you see is going on,
And while I have
Holiday
you,
safety.
well, absolutely, so that we can submit paperwork for your budget. Should we submit you a letter based on, I guess, for lack of a better term, a dream sheet, and then we see what happens for the year? Because again,
contribution.
contribution or donation.
But it would be good, I mean, I would like if you could come back every quarter, but December meeting in particular.
Okay.
To talk about holiday safety.
Sure.
Because, that typically, we always have
Holiday safety.
Absolutely.
something happens that's with all the lights and all of the stuff that everybody likes
Well,
to do.
that
So
will be
if
a
we
problem
can-
because we're active with that Santa going around the neighborhoods.
Yeah.
So we do that. So absolutely, we'll try to work that in for you.
Yes, thank you so
you.
much.
Do you want to write your
Yes, ma'am.
information down for
Anybody have any other questions before? Thank
No,
you.
just thank you for coming out.
Thank you so much. I very much appreciate it. Thank you, Mr. Muchler, for bringing him here to see us.
Maybe we
Appreciate
can also
it.
schedule him for the senior meeting too.
Oh, to talk to the seniors?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
that would be really great.
Great.
Yes, yes. We have the seniors on Wednesdays.
Uh-huh.
What is it, the first Wednesday?
It's twice a month.
When do they meet? First and the third Wednesday here in the outreach room. So, yeah, that would be really good
thank
to
you.
have a direct conversation with our seniors. They meet on the first and the third Wednesday.
Okay.
What time?
For her.
11:30?
11:30?
Uh-huh. Around 11:30.
You can pick.
Oh, for Judy?
You can pick any.
Is it for Judy?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Yeah, pick any of them, just call the office and
Okay.
know that you're able to come, and then Judy here will let them know.
Okay, I will
have his
definitely try to make that
They
happen.
like getting guests too.
Yes.
They really do.
Okay.
Judy, I have his information for you.
And I would also invite, Madam Mayor and the council, we have a VSU day, which is a volunteer service day on the 29th. In the evening, we'll be covering the station for 12 hours, all volunteers.
That's October.
October, yes ma'am. Encourage you to stop by, talk to some of the volunteers, look at the apparatus, look at the station, so you can get a feel of what we do. And then if you have more questions that you want to generate, well, boom, I'll be able to get those answered for you, or if not there immediately. So I would encourage that.
So that's all day on the 29th, or?
It'll be in the evening. During the day, we have a Halloween breakfast upstairs.
Yeah, okay.
So if you want to come by then, that's fine too.
Okay.
I'm going to try to put together a semi-open house, so we'll have some volunteers there, hopefully, so we can answer questions, show people the apparatus, because it's important that they know what's in their community and the people that are volunteering. Just like they should know who the council and the mayor is, you should know who we are, and not just on accidents or emergencies,
Right.
a working relationship. So
I
that's
have
my
a
goal.
question.
Yes, ma'am.
More so of a statement. In Anne Arundel County, they have a new rule and reg in their fire department that if the wind is in the excess of 45 miles per hour, that no apparatus will leave the firehouse for any emergency. Did that come into PG County as well?
We don't have that yet, so.
But you know what I'm talking
Yes,
about.
ma'am, yes, ma'am. And the other thing is, I guess it's for the safety of the members. Anne Arundel County, I guess, because it's majority career, they're driven to a different standard based on the fact that I guess the government has mostly control over that. We don't have that here yet per se as far as the wind restriction, but we are restricted sometimes to save and conserve on fuel costs, because I will tell you this, volunteers on average save this county $43 million a year, just in salaries alone. And as far as the equipment, I can't, the only thing I can say is the volunteers own 80% of the equipment in Prince George's County, and they own 85% of the stations. So the thing is, we do a lot to help out.
Absolutely.
So,
But I was amazed when
Yeah.
I heard that Anne Arundel County Fire Department will not respond to any emergency if the wind is in the excess of 45 mile per hour.
yep,
I was amazed.
you have to prevent
Well,
injuries.
I mean, I can point out that, you know, they made it very clear during Matthew's path that if people weren't to evacuate, that they would get no response over, I think it was 39 miles per hour winds, that
Right.
when they ordered the evacuation, and that if you didn't leave, you weren't going to get a 911 response, so. you know,
Well, I think PG County's more aggressive as far as their fire department. We've been known to be an aggressive department, that we'll, come rain or shine, or
Well,
that high water that comes, we'll be there.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. And I do want to reiterate what you said, that people really don't understand. A lot of people, they just expect that their fire service will come when they're there, and that it's something as a part of their tax-paying dollars. And they don't recognize that a lot of this, the bulk of this, is volunteer service. So thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, Mayor and Council, appreciate you.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you so much. Okay, moving on the agenda, we have some minutes to approve. We received April 5th work session minutes and April 12th town meeting minutes. Does anyone want to make a motion to approve those minutes?
I'll make that motion to approve April the 5th work session and April the 12th town meeting.
Is there a second?
I'll second as stated.
Okay, any discussion? Can I call for a vote? Ward 1?
Aye.
Ward 2? Ward 3?
Aye.
Ward 4?
Aye.
And the mayor votes aye. Thank you so much. Okay, so mayor's report. The only thing I want to report on actually this month is I want to just say I appreciate everybody who came, worked on Port Towns Day, particularly Judy Myers, and Chief Walker from Edmonston for the amount of effort and energy that they put into making that day happen. It took a lot of bodies and a lot of people, but everybody should know that it really takes a core of the center that actually makes planning happen. So thank you so much, Judy, for what effort you put in that. And everybody else participated. So I'm not leaving anybody out because we have 4 towns and a whole lot of energy in it. But somebody has to coordinate. It was a wonderful day, and thank goodness it was a little bit cooler than Colmar Manor Day. And so we got a little bit of a break there, and it came out really nice. And as always, it was the 20th anniversary, and I appreciate that. So I wanted to say that as one of my reports. And I also want to, there's a sad point that I need to state, is that you guys, most of you, if you're listening and you're from Colmar Manor, you know Ronald Hankins. And Ronald, who is our little guy on the bicycle with the flags and redskin flags and the, flags of the United States of America, has always been, he's here. I mean, he's still alive. I'm not going to take you down that road. But he has always been available to us to help us out and to
Oh,
do
help
things
with
for us.
recreation for years,
Help
yeah.
with recreation for years and supports us or whatever. And he's always done these things. And his father passed away within the last couple of weeks. And with that happening, the circumstances, he's got to leave town. His brother is going to take him in, and he'll be moving away. And I just can't imagine this town without Ronald. That's just like crazy. So I really need to say that we really care for Ronald. We want him to have, you know, a good life and everything to move forward. But I can't imagine a person in this town that doesn't know Ronald,
Right.
and
Miss him.
for the years that he's been here. We'll really are going to miss him being here. So that's my report, and I'll move on to the council reports. Ward 1?
Thank you. Good evening. I'd like to say happy birthday to Jeremiah Blue and all the other October birthday people. And I want to say get well to the sick. And don't forget to check on your neighbors. One of my neighbors on my block is doing very well, and she thanks the citizens for stopping by with your concerns and just saying how you're doing. Also, it's getting cold, and don't forget to lock your car and take your cell phone, your laptop, your purse. Don't leave things on the seat where someone will break in and steal or do anything to your car. Congratulations to Isaac and Marilyn on 40th Avenue. They just had a little baby boy named Elijah. Also, I want to say the community yard sale went nice. I think there were maybe overall 12 people in town that participated, but it was really nice, and we're looking forward to do it again. I've been riding around looking at my ward mainly, but riding through the town, and I noticed some of us aren't cutting the grass on the curve. So when we cut our grass in the yard, we don't cut the curve, and the curve grass is kind of high. And so it is our responsibility to cut that grass also. And when we do cut our grass, please let's sweep it up and try to keep our front, show that we care about our community and keeping it neat. It's getting dark early. If you see something, say something. Also, the next neighborhood watch meeting will be Thursday, November the 17th at 7 o'clock here at the town hall. And also our Thanksgiving dinner will be here Thanksgiving Day with Doretha Epps. Is she still having it, Mayor?
Yes.
Yes. So
It's New Year's Eve.
not-
No, it's
not
Christmas Day.
Thanksgiving?
It's always Christmas.
Christmas Day.
Oh, she's not doing
Christmas
for
Day.
Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
It was Christmas.
Oh, so it's Christmas, I'm
Christmas
sorry.
Day.
But if there's anyone in the community that needs Thanksgiving assistance, please contact your council representative for that. And I want to say just look out for the kids playing in the street. They're still out there playing in the street. Pick up behind your dogs that's using the bathroom is a must. And thank you, and happy Halloween.
Thank you so much. Ward 2?
Oh, good evening. The PD Department of Social Service going to be hosting a free food distribution event at the Center for Educational and Partnership, located at 6200 Sheraton Street in Riverdale, Maryland. It's going to be, the time is the date, October the 20th from 9:30 to 10:30. First come, first serve, and you have to bring your own bags. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Councilmember Bowden. Ward 3?
Yes, good evening. On November the 5th, Ward 3, myself, Councilmember Jackson, will have Meet Up, Clean Up. I'm looking for residents in Ward 3 to walk around with me to clean up the neighborhoods. If you have your young kids and you need community service hours, they're welcome to join us. That's November the 5th. The time will be from 9 to 11. We just want to walk around and clean up, and I think if we do it together as a team, it works out, and if you can get your kids involved. Also, we will have one town meeting for the month of November, because November the 8th is our election day. So the mayor and council voted on having one meeting, which will be November the 1st. Also, I want to say congratulations to Julianne Pathay for winning the Prince George's County Beautification Award. This is her third time winning, and she got the award on September the 28th at 6 p.m. On October the 31st, they will have the grand opening of the trail walking and bike, Anacostia Trail walking and bike, I guess it's the walking path. The walking path. It's at 10 a.m. However, the location has not been determined because, of course, you know, the trail goes over to DC. If you have a chance, please take that walk. It's beautiful, absolutely beautiful. And that's it. Also, I want to say, thank you also to Jason for letting us know that WSSC was going to be on 41st Street. Currently, the residents on that street did receive letters, so he was able to contact the mayor and council and let us know, and also put that information on next door. Thank you. That's it for my report. Hope that you can come out and join me on November the 5th to clean up Ward 3. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Ward 4?
Don't have a lot to say. I just want to thank everyone for coming out this evening. Election day is coming up, so now is the time, more than anything, register to vote and make your vote count. Thanks.
Awesome.
When is the last day for registration for
The
your?
last day for
18th?
registration, no,
18th.
the 6th, is it the 8th? I thought it was the 16th.
16th?
18th.
It's next Monday.
coming up.
What is next
Yeah, I
Monday?
wanted, because Diane was.
It's
talking
next
her
Monday.
It's 17th, and if it's Monday, it's the 17th.
It's the 17th.
17th. I think DC must be the 18th. I know one of them.
It might be the 18th. We can double
That's
check,
what
but
I wrote down.
I think it's the 17th is what I think the date is. So, I mean, I would take no chances, and if you're not registered, I'd say go register
Right.
tomorrow.
Register.
And because it's not that big a deal. You can register online. You do
Yes.
not have to go anywhere to register. You can
Right.
register online, and everybody should register and take advantage of your vote. I missed one thing I wanted to say because I had a wonderful time at our community yard sale. And I actually, this wonderful jacket I actually got at the yard sale. So, I mean, we want to try to have another one. If you didn't get out and do it, it was actually a lot of fun. You know, to just spend the day going around the neighborhood to the different places of the people who had. We had 11 participants, which I thought was great for a first yard sale. I want to thank Ms. Blue for the work she put into it. I want to thank Jason for the work that he put into actually working on planning it out. But we'll do it again, and you know, keep on moving that stuff around and getting ready things out of the house. I also want to mention that we have qualified as a sustainable community. I want to thank Mayor Pro Tem Jackson for continuing to push and fight for the energy and making this happen, because it's been going on for a lot of years. Our other surrounding towns have gotten there before us, and there's a whole lot of work and detail that have to go into it. I also have to thank Carrie Briggs for her participation in helping us to move this particular thing forward. It's been a lot of things, and again, it required a whole lot of people's efforts. Can't name all the people involved, but again, it takes some people who are dedicated to making it happen. So thank you, Councilmember Jackson, for just keeping that going until we get it. So we actually are supposed to be awarded on, I think it's on this Friday, at the Maryland Municipal League Conference in Solomons. So we look forward to appreciating getting that done. And I want to reiterate, the trail system is open. Guys, you can get across the bridge, get on our trails, get across the bridge, go down this way. You can go into DC, all the way down, I think, to Benning Road and all blah, blah, blah. Go and check it out. It's an awesome thing. It's taken a lot of energy to put that into it. And as to the point of the WSSC, I do want to make a point about that. I was a little bit, I want to appreciate Jason for letting people know about the closing, but I was a little put back. And Mike might have a comment about it when he gets up to talk, that we weren't informed up front. And I just want to let you guys know that our expectation is that these agencies do talk to us before. They just have a contractor send something to our residents. And so we are in the process of communicating that, you know, we have an expectation as a incorporated municipality to be communicated to, so that we can have some communication with our residents, as opposed to our residents informing us that something's going to happen on their block. And so thank you for making that
Right.
statement, because I forgot I wanted to say that, because
And Mayor, in the past, they didn't even send something out to the residents. We were just shocked by people calling up here that they're starting doing work.
like,
So
why is somebody
I
on my
guess they're
street
trying to
working?
I noticed they did mail everybody on that block, but you're correct. They should have, I know they know in advance that they're coming to our town. They should let us know, let our public works know that they're coming into our town.
yes. I mean, and we've kind of had that conversation with them
Well, I seen the
before.
letters out to the citizens.
And it's still not quite getting there. I mean, I don't know. We may have to actually go to the county executive to find out, to make sure. But this is not lost on me. That
Yeah, so maybe we can invite, they do have a new executive director.
at WSSC.
Yes, maybe we can invite her to our January meeting.
No, that's a
See
good
if
way to
Kayla-
get it
That way
started.
we can get some dialogue, so the
Update.
next time they come into our town, we will be aware of it. Right. That's okay.
Thank you. Okay, so moving on, the report on the work session. On our work session, let's see, which was on October the 4th, we discussed event parking signs. And it's not just event parking signs. What we're really looking for is signs, event signs. So if we're having the neighborhood watch meeting, or a recreation meeting, that we can put signs up in different portions of town in order for people to see when they drive in the town that something's happening, because people tend to miss the big sign on 40th Avenue. By the way, we're actually put a grant in to try to get an electronic sign in that location, which we're hoping it might be more noticeable to people, because people say, I didn't know this was going on, but that sign's been up there for a month and you didn't know this was going on. But I guess you just get used to seeing it and you don't know it's there. But these will be smaller signs, which we would also mostly use for the events that happen in this building, so people know where to park, because people have to park around the back side, and so we put up those signs. So anyway, we actually voted on purchasing 2 signs for that purpose, which can be used for multiple purposes. They're here. We got them. Okay, they're done. That's done. Councilmember Jackson also mentioned that we will not have a November 8th town meeting, because that's the election day, but please be here to vote. We had a conversation about a staff party. There's been some conversation about us having some joint staff parties, Christmas party, with the other towns, and the consensus was that we will still have an individual party. Acting Chief Sims talked to us about Hurricane Matthew at the time and our concerns about what do we need to do to prepare. And she put in preparation activities in order to be prepared if it was more significant for us, which thankfully it was not. But she was thought ahead to say that we need to actually talk about it before. She also spoke to us about new laws for the police department. Some legislation has gone into place that requires a higher level of training requirements for the police departments across the state, and she sort of gave us a brief on what those were in order to make sure that our officers were up to date on all the things that need to happen. I provided an update on the police chief hiring, which in fact is that the committee, which includes myself, the chief commissioner from Cottage City, Nuanez, and a resident from Colmar Manor, a resident from Cottage City, Mr. Dan Baden, and their town administrator, Stan Mosley, and then 2 career police officers as a part of our committee have met twice now in order to talk about how this process will work with a shared police chief. And tomorrow, maybe we have 17 resumes? 16 resumes, which is what we will be reviewing tomorrow to make a decision of who do we want to interview. And at that time, we make the decision on who we're going to interview. And clearly, the most important thing to us is someone who is strong in community policing. And we're all on board in agreement in that particular area. We also talked about our overtime policy amendment. This is something that we've been working on for a while now, but it was basically an issue that we discovered during the huge snowstorm earlier this year, that our policies were not commensurate to what people really, our staff really had to deal with, and that our public works and police necessarily get the proper funds for what they did in comparison with other people who did not work. So I think we got that straight now. Yep. That was voted on, and we moved forward from that. And then there was also an issue of the community garden on our East Garden. We need a fence at the East Garden, and we've had some challenges in finding, the funding. So anyway, we appropriated $2,500 towards the fence. I think it was $2,500. We appropriated $2,500 towards building the fence at the East Garden, and that was it. Am I missing anything? All right, so that was the work session. Thank you again. I will always thank Ms. Muchler for me putting that as an agenda item, because it was not something ever done before. And she said, I want to know what goes on in those work sessions, and so I'm happy to do it. Thank you. So we'll move on to the treasurer's report.
All right, give a quick overview of the September 30th, 2016 treasurer's report. This is for the first 3 months of the current fiscal year. For the month of September, we had total revenues of $94,244. This includes $25,738 in highway users revenue, which was a one-time grant that we received from the state, which is a large portion. It's about 2/3 of the total budget for highway users revenue of $37,000. We also received our first quarter payment for state aid for police protection in the amount of $7,645. On the expenditure side, we had general government expenditures for the month of $48,520 and a total year-to-date expenditure of $159,558. Building maintenance for the community center building here was $7,240. This included $5,689 in electric costs and brings our year-to-date expenditures to $24,762 for maintenance of the community center building. Under Public Works, total expenditures for the month were $24,185. Year-to-date, $55,551. Community center operations, $4,312 in expenditures for the month, $10,366 year-to-date. And in public safety, for mainly the police department, we had total expenditures of $30,006. Total year-to-date for the 3 months is $80,338. And all the expenditures together for the month totaled $114,265. Cash balance at September 30th was $593,114. That's a quick overview of the report, and ask you to accept it as presented.
Is there a motion to accept the treasurer's report?
I'll make it motion as stated.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? Okay, I have a question. On the rental, on the community center, rental expense, why is it zero?
We still need to break that out. I think it's all showing in the rental income at this point, whereas this year we said we're going to break that out into two categories.
When the expense part being
The watchman's fee.
Watchman's fees, when they charge to that account, or when they charge to whatever that
Right.
code is.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah,
all right.
so we still need to break that out.
Okay, so if we just put that on the record so we can make sure that we get there. Is there any other discussion?
No.
Okay, I'll call for a vote. Ward 1?
Aye.
Ward 2?
Aye.
Ward 3?
Aye.
Ward 4?
Aye.
And Mayor votes aye. Okay, so it means that those salaries are actually sitting in the salary category somewhere. The
No,
expense.
it's actually shown as an offset against rental income.
Oh, it's an offset right now, okay.
Yeah, so the rental income will go up and the expense will.
Oh, okay, we'll move over
Go
to
up
there.
also.
Okay, got you. All right, thank you so much. Okay, so that report accepted. So our next item on the, agenda is police report.
Good
Acting
evening.
Chief, sir?
For significant incidents for the month of September. On September 1st at approximately 01:30 in the morning, a cab was called to the 4300 block of Newton Street. Once it was there, it was approached by two males. One brandished a handgun and demanded all the driver's money, to include his wallet. Once they had the driver's money and his wallet, they ran on foot towards Bladensburg Road. They got into a pickup truck, at which time a high-speed chase, which included Bladensburg Police Department and PG County, started into DC. The vehicle was stolen. Colmar Manor Police Department is working with PG County PD on this case. We had another citizen armed robbery that morning as well. At 5:30 in the morning, a victim was getting into his car to go to work in the 4300 block of 42nd Avenue when a male came up from behind his vehicle and put a gun to his head and demanded he exit the vehicle. The victim did as he was told. The suspect demanded the money and his wallet. When the victim gave him approximately $15, the suspect wanted the victim to drive him to the ATM. At that time, the victim grabbed the gun from the suspect, got back into his car and drove away. At 4:30 in the afternoon, the victim came to the police department and reported the crime. Again, we are working with PG County, and a suspect has been developed, and PG County is working on that warrant. On September 5th, while on patrol in the area of 4201 Bladensburg Road, a subject was stopped for urinating in public and a criminal summons was issued. On September 9th, officers responded to the 42nd Avenue and Lawrence Street for a motor vehicle accident. Upon arrival, the officers were speaking to one of the vehicle operators and observed that he was intoxicated. He was given proper field sobriety test, arrested for driving while under the influence of alcohol. Eventually, he was released to a family member after he was charged. On September 10th, while officers were on patrol in the area of 4201 Bladensburg Road, they were moving loiterers away from the area, and they were IDing people and running them through the computer system, and found one of them to be wanted for failure to appear in court. He was arrested and taken to DOC. On 9/11/2016, officers were dispatched to the area of Bank of America at approximately 0300 a.m. for a possible victim of a shooting that occurred in an unknown area. Upon arrival, the victim's vehicle was there and running with the doors open, but there was no victim. Officers were told to respond to Burger King, where there was someone banging on the door saying that he was shot. When the officers got there, the victim had a large lump on his forehead and a cut above his ear. He had not been shot, he had been hit in the head. He believed it happened in DC, and he drove himself to the ATM and called 911. On 9/18/2016, a customer at IHOP refused to pay for his food. He became loud and started screaming and yelling obscenities inside the restaurant. He was arrested for theft under $100 and disorderly. He was taken to DOC for processing and taken before a court commissioner. On 9/19/2016, victim reported that someone during the night between 11 p.m. and 9 a.m. Sunday morning. Someone had tampered with his 2004 Ford F-150 that was parked in the 4300 block of Newark Road. And they also broke the left side of his left side driver's mirror and punched a hole in the driver's side lock. However, they never gained entry into the vehicle and nothing was taken. There was a residential break-in and entering on 9/21/16 at approximately 1:30 p.m. in the 3900 block of Newark Road. Entry was made via the basement. Once inside, the alarm system did activate, notifying the homeowner. The suspect was able to steal a 24-inch flat-screen TV before fleeing the home. Both Colmar Manor Police Department and PG County Police detectives are working on that case. There was a break-in and entering commercial on 9/23/2016 at 4:40 a.m. Unknown suspects gained entry into 4201 Bladensburg Road, also known as Lucky Mart. The alarm system did activate, notifying the police. The suspect was able to grab the next day's startup money prior to fleeing the building before the police department got on the scene. Colmar Manor Police Department and PG County detectives are working on the case with a possible suspect. On 9/27/16, officers on patrol noted a male urinating in a public at 4209 Bladensburg Road. He was stopped, detained. He was also issued a criminal summons. Code enforcement wrote 16 tickets, 34 code violations, 27 follow-up investigations for checking structures for windows and broken glass, tall grass, vacant homes, storage on the front porch, and building materials of mattresses, appliances, and room and houses. And once I finish getting the updates to the Maryland Police Training Commission for the new laws and regulations, legislation voted in, I will be shortly starting to work on Santa with a badge. So if anybody has any names or knowledge of any children that live within the town limits, please give them to me. And that is it. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Is there a motion? Thank you. Is there a motion to accept the chief's report?
Sure, I'll make that motion as stated to accept the police report.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Is there any questions? Okay, I'll call for a vote. Ward 1?
Aye.
Ward 2?
Aye.
Ward 3?
Aye.
Ward 4?
Aye.
Okay, Mayor votes aye. Thank you so much, Acting Chief Sims. Okay, so we'll move on to the staff reports.
Fighting over who goes.
Mayor, Council, Dan, Mary, Chief.
Okay, so we got Mike Gorham from Public Works.
Mike Gorham, Public Works. You will run down for the last couple months, July, August, September.
Move a little closer to the mic.
Okay, sorry about that.
Thank you.
In July, we attended probably about 4 or 5 meetings for National Night Out, planning a National Night Out, cutting all the properties throughout the town during the month, keeping the water tank filled up every time we got an email or something. The drains in the kitchen.
The water, when you say water tank, you're talking about the garden
The garden.
Yeah,
types.
gardens, I'm sorry, down in the gardens. Repaired the drains in the kitchen up to WSSC code. He came out, inspected them, told us that we had to build them up a little bit so nothing could run down them. They passed WSSC's inspection. In August, we picked up tables and chairs for National Night Out, got the whole event set up with the help of Bladensburg and Cottage City. After we got everything loaded up, took the table and chairs back to parking plan. Next day was on the ball field cleaning up, making sure everything looked good. I don't want to go there yet. We cut all town property again. Put up a handicap parking spot in the 3900 block of Newton Street. Put another one up in the 3400 block of 43rd Avenue. And while we was out there, we ended up taking down 2 of the parking spaces. One at 3900 block of Lawrence Street, and the other one was the 4000 block of Newton Street. Okay, then we picked up tables and chairs again for the town's anniversary. Got everything pretty much ready for that. I didn't work that event. Mr. Nutt filled in for me. Attended a class at College Park. Where's my note at? On supervisor and management. Attended another class in Annapolis on communication skills. Mr. Porter finished his class for CDL and now has his CDL license, so he can drive the bus when needed. Along with he's attended a couple classes too. I'm not 100% sure which one he's attended. We have different classes at time and everything. And pretty much the same thing, just cutting the grass throughout the town, making sure everything looks good, upkeep of the town, walk the streets, pick up trash and everything.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you for your report. Appreciate it. Thank you. Anybody have any questions? All right. Okay, thank you.
Hi, Judy. And pretty much, we did submit a grant request to the community park and playground grant for the Yost Street Park. Mike and I went with Dan to the Newton Street Park and talked to the contractor about the exercise equipment on the Newton Street Park. Major project I've been working on.
To the mic.
Major project I've been working on was Port Town Day.
Mm-hmm.
On September 17th. I was working with Chief Walker with that. A lot of work goes into that. Came right out of that project into the Port Town Legislative Dinner, the 14th annual Port Town Legislative Dinner, which I'm working with Rod Barnes, Town Administrator from Evanston, on that. We have probably over 175 invitations go out on that right now. So we're moving along with getting what we need to have prepared to have the dinner, a successful dinner again. I'm working with Dan right now on the CDBG grant for street improvements, which is due on Friday. Our senior intern, Lorna Sampson, had to leave us due to health issues. And because of the longevity that she has to be gone, she will not be able to return to us. Dan and I interviewed a new person last week, and I talked to her supervisor today. She's contacting her. And she probably will be starting with us next week if she accepts the job. Time for the newsletter to go out again. And I went to an SHA meeting today, and they were speaking about topics. Some of the topics were what we will be asking for in promoting in the legislative dinner, and I have a whole lot of notes on that. One of which is the Peace Cross area.
Mm-hmm.
So those are the big things that I worked on.
Thank you so much, Judy. I appreciate it always. Always. Thank you. We have Renee Watts in Hall Coordination.
Hi, I'm Renee Watts, Recreation, Mayor, Council, Mr. Baden, Sergeant Sims. My recreation report for July through September 2016. Beginning September 1st, recreation hours are Monday through Friday from 2 to 8 p.m., with the exception of volleyball twice a month on Fridays, 6 to midnight, only 2 of those days. 2 new memberships to our exclusive exercise room and our inside track. Recreation IDs and the usage of the gym and exercise room are free to Colmar Manor residents. All others pay $3 for an ID. Port Town's residents will pay $1 for admission, and all others will pay $2. Zumba is still on Mondays and Wednesday evenings between 7:15 and 8:15, and Saturdays at 9:30 to 10:30 a.m. Classes are $6, and a discount bundle is $4. A bundle is 4 tickets for $20. So skip the workout and join the fitness party. The Recreation Department is pleased to announce that we have Wednesday night hand dancing again with Breeze, starting from 6 to 10 p.m., with the taping of the dancing sharply at 9 p.m., which is televised on local cable. The admission is $10. Our Happy Hour Plus will be recognizing October as Breast Cancer Awareness Month. I want to give you a flyer. You can pass it down. Our Happy Hour Plus will be recognizing October as Breast Cancer Awareness Month. This will be our first annual, which I'm calling an Evening of Pink Radiance. The event is on the 21st. We will have a male and female survivor as guest speakers. We have DJ Woody, free giveaways, and more. Please come out to support this cause. The fee is $8, so throw your pink on and come party with the purpose. On October 1st, we invited all volunteers for a pizza brunch at the Three Brothers Restaurant. Everyone really enjoyed the outing and the pizza. I'm pleased to announce we have 2 part-time employees added to our family, which is Hasim Sanchez with the Public Works and Recreation Department, and we have Yolanda Barnett. She's working in the Recreation Department, and both are bilingual, which helps in many ways. This is the other flyer. We're pass this down. Commemorating Colmar Manor 90th anniversary for 2017, we held our first meeting on October 3rd. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, council members. Thank you, staff. Thank you, the residents that came, and also Karen from Maryland National Capital Parks for attending. We accomplished and covered a slew of details. We will meet again Monday, January the 9th, 2017 at 7 p.m. All meetings are held the first Monday of the month at 7 p.m. We encourage residents, local businesses, town partnerships to join us in the continued planning and support. Community service hours are available for all students who may be interested. Saturday, October 29th is our Town Harvest Fest, starting from 5 to 8 p.m. Everyone is invited. We only ask that you come in costume and be ready to eat, dance, play games, and enjoy the hayride. We have prizes, goodie bags, and a special cartoon character that will be available for pictures. I also am currently enrolled with Skill Path Training Resources. I have attended classes in areas of leadership, communication, and handling multi-purpose projects, objectives, and deadlines. My goal is to gain experience and knowledge to become more productive and efficient in time management, but not limited to other growth and tasks, especially in my recreation industry. I thank you, Mayor, I thank you, Council, and I thank you, Dan, for this opportunity. My income from July through September events. Happy Hour, we took in $832. We had a paint and sip, we brought in $14. Breeze's Hand Dance, $2,546.50. I have also rented out the gym on Tuesdays and Thursdays. We made $3,200. The budget with the check, which means I asked the town to give me a check. Colmar Manor Day was $1,200. We actually got $500 from Mr. Lusk, which made it $1,700. And the balance of that I turned in was $206.66. We had our volunteer pizza day. I received $300. I had a balance which was turned in of $3.51. My Harvest Fest, I received $400. That I'm still shopping because we have that coming up. So I'll have that report the next meeting. Our upcoming events, again, we have Harvest Fest this Saturday, October 29th from 5 to 8. We have a Christmas Bazaar, our early Christmas Bazaar, Sunday, December the 11th from 1 to 6 p.m. and our Town Christmas Party, Saturday, December the 17th from 4 to 7 p.m. That concludes my report. Any questions?
Yeah, thank you so much. Appreciate it. I have one question. So the bazaar, how much are the tables?
For the residents, they're $10. Non-residents are $20.
All right. Thank you. Anybody else?
I'd like to just say a comment. I'd like to thank Renee for her work in the rec department, and from a financial point of view, I appreciate the record keeping that she does as far as the events and things. And we actually had a conversation regarding the Colmar Manor Day revenues. I told her she was over budget, and she's like, I'm sure I'm not over budget on that. So we sat down and we went through it for about, I don't know, 20 minutes or so. And in the end, she was actually right, because the $500 donation we got from Mr. Lusk, I hadn't accounted for, but she did, so we were within, a couple dollars. So, I do appreciate that she said she turned in a little bit of money from each event. So, it shows me that she, knows how to manage, the events that she has, and I appreciate that.
Thank you, Dan. Thank you.
And as a finance person myself, I awesomely appreciate that as well. I can say that, because I don't know if you know, but as soon as we finish the budget, she comes in, she goes, is this my line right here? This is what I have to work with? And so, thank you. It really is an important thing.
Thank you.
We're dealing with our taxpayers' dollars, and when we make decisions to do things, it's really critical that we stick within, the budget decisions that we make. So I thank you too.
Thank you.
And welcome to your new staff.
Oh, yes, thank
And welcome
you.
to the new staff. And if anybody doesn't know, if you heard the name Yolanda, Yolanda used to be a council member here in Colmar Manor, so
And
we're
a
happy.
resident.
And a resident, right. So we're happy to have her working with us again. Thank you. Thank you so much. All right. We done with staff report? Is that it?
Yep.
Okay, I do also want to make sure I say this before leaving, because this is the month of October. I want to remind everybody that we rescinded the ban on trick or treat. So for you and your family and your kids who want to go out on trick or treat, please feel free to have a good time, commune, get together with a group of people. Anybody who is going to be offering, we ask you to turn on your lights, so that they know that that's a house for them to come. And if you don't choose to be involved, then don't turn on your lights. And so that everybody can participate and have a good time. I really hope everybody has a good time out there. We have no unfinished business. We have no new business at this time. So we're open up to our community reports. So we have a senior report. Mr. Muchler?
Good evening, Mayor and Council, Mr. Baden and Chief Sims. The seniors met last Wednesday, and we'd like to thank Judy and the Garden Club. We have a 50-50 drawing at each meeting, and Judy brought in 4 mum plants that the Garden Club had donated. We were also raffled off, so I appreciate them very much. Next Wednesday, we're going out for lunch. I think it's going to the Italian Olive Garden over in Prince George's Plaza. And then we're looking forward to the holidays coming up. I would like to thank the Mayor and Council for letting Mr. Brodus come and speak to you. I thought it was important that you hear about what happened at the fire department. It wasn't something we wanted to do, it's something we had to do. And it hurt me a whole lot having to give up the name of Carter City Colmar Manor Fire Company, because I've been here so many years, but it was just an action that had to be taken. But we're there to serve this community and all the communities in the area at all times. Just give us a call. Thank you.
Thank you
You're
so
welcome,
much,
Ed.
Mr. Muchler.
Thank you, Mr.
So much, appreciate it. Anybody have any questions? All right, Garden Club?
Yes. I will give the report for our president of our garden club,
Dorita Epps.
Dorita Epps. Sorry about that. As Mr. Muchler said, we donated 4 mums to Colmar Manor seniors. We were very happy to do that. Also, we want to, on October the 15th is the community garden cleanup. We'll be working with Reverend Addison and her kids. They'll be here on October the 15th. Dorita Epps and I think Cynthia, you're gonna come up and help and open up? Okay, they'll be here at 9 o'clock, and that is this Saturday. Also, I want to thank Ms. Kim Knotts and the University of Maryland students. They started the process of cleaning our rain garden, which we will finish doing on October the 21st. And all who comes out and help us to complete that rain garden, Rufus have greatly wanted to reward us for keeping that rain garden intact, and he's going to treat us to IHOP on that day once we're finished. And that's October the 22nd, I'm sorry. I said 21st, 22nd. Also, one of the community gardeners wants to decorate the garden in Ward 1 for Halloween. If anyone else is interested in participating in that, please contact the president of the garden club. We did very well with selling our mums, and we want to thank everyone that participated and whoever purchased the mums for the community garden. I do not have an exact number, but we did very well. I think we have 40 mums left, and what we're going to do is plant some of them in the rain garden on October the 21st. But if someone is interested in purchasing, they're now going for 3 for $10. Let's see that. Oh, the most important thing. On October the 25th, Colmar Manor will be hosting Creating a Winter Garden. If you're interested in doing a winter garden, we have someone coming in from the green team. And if you have a garden in Colmar Manor, Evanston, and Carter City, there's no fee. But if you're not a gardener, there's a $10 fee. And that will be held here on October the 25th from 7 to 9 p.m. in the evening. And that's if you're interested in having a winter garden. Also, I want to congratulate Colmar Manor Community Garden in Ward 1. We received our second beautification award. Somehow I was not able to attend, lost invitation in the mail, but one of our residents picked this up for me, so hopefully, for sure, next year both gardens will receive this. Also, they do beautifications not only just for the gardens, but for residents and also for the town. So I would love to challenge the town for us to put some mulch out in front, and put some beautiful flowers, and let them come and judge us so we can also, as a town, get one of the beautification.
Absolutely. Yeah,
But I
that's
just want to
wonderful.
say, Dorita has stepped up to being the president of the garden club, and I really appreciate it because she's made my job easy. So I really appreciate all the communication that she does, and also working with Leslie, which is head of the East Garden, and Albert is head of the West Garden.
Yes.
And I'll move right on to the green team, if you don't mind, Mayor.
Yes, please do.
Our green team normally meets tomorrow. Unfortunately, I'll be out of town in a conference, so our next green team meeting will be October the 18th, which is next Wednesday. It'll be here in the outreach room. It will be 6:30 to 8. I will send an email out. We will have a light refreshments. We are looking for a green team president, and we're also focusing on how we can go door to door and really encourage people to recycle. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Councilmember Jackson. I appreciate it. All right. So any other comments from the mayor, from the council? Okay, we'll move on to any citizen comments, any resident comments.
Oh,
Oh, you have?
no, I just want to say, want to piggyback off of what Renee Watt said. This month is Breast Cancer Month. She is a survivor. Her daughter is a survivor, so just want to make
Yes,
sure the
that's-
women and men get your mammogram. And also, this is Domestic Violence Month also. Chief Sims can really give you some information, or she can have information for you if you need it. I know that's a touchy subject, but she's very approachable. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. Okay. Is there any resident comments? Okay. With none, is there a motion to adjourn the meeting?
Yes, I'll make that motion as stated.
Okay. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right. This meeting is now adjourned at 9:04 p.m.